Welcome to this short video on DBTuna installation. The installation prerequisites for Linux are really straightforward. In terms of disk space, you'll need approximately half a gigabyte for the binaries, and depending on how many databases you're monitoring and how busy those databases are, you'll probably need about 1 gigabyte to store all of the historical data. That machine that's running DBTuna needs connectivity to the databases that you want to monitor, so make sure there's no firewalls in the way preventing the connection. And also the DBTuna user needs to be able to connect through to port 8090 on that machine as well in order to look at the data through the user interface. And the last prerequisite is don't install as a root user. It won't work if you do, and that's a stumbling block for many users. So do not install as root. Okay, we're going to install DBTuna on a Linux platform now. So we've got our package, our gzip package. Now first thing we're going to do is unzip it with gunzip. Which may take a few seconds. We will now untar it using the command tar xvf followed by the tar file, which untars the directory structure for DBTuna. So you can see those directories being created now. Okay, and then once that has been completed, if we do a listing of the directory, we'll find out that we've got 4 directories. We'll also have 3 shell scripts, and to finish the installation process we just need to start up the DBTuna processes. So let's go ahead and run start dbtuna.sh. DBTuna is now starting, and if we just confirm that everything has started okay, run show status, find out that the user interface process is running, the repository is running, so we're good to go. The next step is to connect through to the user interface using your web browser. So we need to go into our email that we would have received upon downloading DBTuna and scroll a little bit further down and take a copy of the entire trial license key there. And we're going to use this key to enable the installation. So we've now got the user interface running through our browser. So if we look at first of all in the address bar, I've accessed the user interface based on the IP address, but it could just as well be the host name or the fully qualified name of the machine running DBTuna, followed by a colon, followed by the port number, and the default port for the DBTuna user interface is port 8090. Now we need to do 2 things now. First of all, we need to add the license key. So using the license key that we've got previously from the email, we're going to click add license and paste in the full key there. Click add license, and then you can see that we've got a temporary key that's valid for 7 days from the point of the download. We'll then go back to the agent manager, and now we're going to configure an agent. So in this case, for the purposes of the demo, I'm going to add a SQL Server agent. So first of all, I'll click add agent, specify the agent type, so you can see the supported platforms there: MySQL, SQL Server, NetApp, Oracle and Sybase ASE. So I'm going to select SQL Server. I'm going to give it a name, and this name could be anything meaningful to you. So it could be the instance name, or it could just be something that uniquely identifies that particular instance. And then I just need to give it connectivity details. So either the host name, if you're using database mirroring, then you can optionally add in the failover partner. In this case we're not, so we're just going to leave that blank. You then need to give the TCP/IP port for the database listener. So in the case of SQL Server, the default port is 1433, but if you're running on a non-default port, make sure you check that and enter that port number. And you can either use Windows-based authentication, assuming that you've got DBTuna running on a Windows platform, or you can use SQL Server-based authentication, which we're going to do in this case. We then need to select the aggregation interval, and this is the granularity that DBTuna will collect at. So the lowest level is 1 minute, which means that every 1 minute it will log the performance data, but you can increase that 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's up to you, it depends how granular you want that data, but just bear in mind that the more granular the data is, the more space it will consume on disk. We can optionally monitor the OS as well to collect some CPU information, but in this case we're not going to bother. We're just going to click Add Agent, and then you can see that that agent is now in our agent manager in a list, and to start up that agent it's a simple case of clicking Start. We then get our green tick to say that the agent is running. If for some reason the agent didn't start correctly, then you would see a red cross, and you would then want to look at the log file to do some troubleshooting. Going back to the main menu screen, you can now see that we've got a new icon, which is the DBTuna for SQL Server icon, which recognises that we're now monitoring one instance of SQL Server. And to start looking at the data, it's a simple case of clicking on the icon, which takes us through to the activity screen, and immediately we can now see activity. The default view when you get into the activity screen is to look at the last hour, but if you want a rolling auto refreshing page, then select last 30 minutes. You can see that we're now refreshing the data every minute, picking up new data, which will then get put into the timeline here. That concludes the installation video. Now take a look at our other videos. Thank you.